Well-rested Eala dives into main draw action at Indian Wells. Alexandra Eala of the Philippines returns the ball to Coco Gauff of the U.S. during the Dubai Duty-Free Tennis Championship quarter-final match in Dubai, United Arab Emirates, Thursday, February 19, 2026. AP Photo/Altaf Qadri. After more than 2 weeks of rest, Eala dives into action for her main draw debut alongside the star-studded cast in the upcoming WTA 1000 Indian Wells Open, BNP Paribas, in California's slated March 4 to 15. Eala, 20, takes the center stage against the high-ranking players and multi-Grand Slam champions in the likes of world number 1 Belarusian Aryna Sabalenka, number 2 Polish Iga Swiatek, number 3 Kazakh Elena Rybakina, and Americans number 4 Coco Gauff and number 5 Jessica Pegula. With the draw to be disclosed a few days before the official start, number 8 Russian wunderkind Mira Andreeva is expected to enter the picture to defend her crown. She beat Sabalenka in last year's finale. The Filipina tennis sensation, who reached a career-best WTA ranking of number 31, joined the elite draw of the hard-court tournament, dubbed as the 5th Grand Slam, which has a hefty $9,415,725 P542, 920, 119 prize pool. It would be a great opportunity for Eala to bolster her craft before she guns for another breakthrough in the Miami Open, scheduled March 17th to 29th, the same meet that gave the Filipina the spotlight last year. The 5'9" lefty is currently on vacation in Oregon, where she visited the Nike World headquarters, which displayed portraits of some of her career highlights. Earlier this month, the country's top tennis ace worked her way through a hectic schedule during her Middle East swing, following her quarterfinals exit in the inaugural WTA 125 Philippine Women's Open here. In her final salvo in the desert region, Eala highlighted her three-meet quest by a stunning win over number 7 fiery Italian Jasmine Paolini in the round of 16 of the WTA 1000 Dubai Tennis Championships in the United Arab Emirates. She ultimately bowed to Gauff in the quarters. The rain in Oregon arrived softly, like applause from the sky. It was the kind of gentle drizzle that made everything at Nike World headquarters in Beaverton glow a little greener, a little brighter. The towering trees stood like silent spectators. The glass buildings reflected ambition. And walking through the campus, past the famous swoosh carved into the landscape, was a young tennis star whose journey had already crossed oceans. Eala did not just arrive at Nike HQ. She arrived with history behind her and possibility ahead of her. For years, Alex had been a name whispered in tennis circles with admiration. A Grand Slam junior champion, a fearless left-hander from the Philippines with relentless footwork and a fighter's instinct. She carried the pride of a nation every time she stepped onto the court. But on this particular day in Oregon, she wasn't stepping onto a baseline. She was stepping into a legacy. Nike headquarters is more than an office. It's a cathedral of sport. Hallways lined with innovation. Walls decorated with decades of athletic rebellion. Stories of Serena's dominance, Nadal's grit, Federer's elegance. The ghosts of greatness seemed to float in the air. And now, Eala was part of that story. As she entered the campus, she was greeted not just with handshakes, but with warmth. Designers, executives, young employees who followed her matches, everyone seemed to understand what her presence meant. She represented something bigger than rankings or trophies. She represented the future. There is something poetic about a tennis player visiting the birthplace of performance gear. Tennis is a sport of fine margins. Millimeters decide lines. Seconds define matches. Nike thrives on the same precision. Innovation is their language. And in Alex, they see a canvas for it. She toured the innovation labs where shoes are tested for explosive movement. She saw prototypes crafted for speed, engineered for agility. She listened to designers explain how fabric breathes under pressure, how soles grip in crucial moments, how every detail is built for champions. But perhaps the most powerful moment was not in the lab. It was in the conversations. They asked her about growing up in Manila, about long training days under tropical heat, about chasing dreams far from traditional tennis powerhouses. Alex spoke with quiet confidence. She described the sacrifices, the early mornings, the losses that hurt, and the wins that healed. And as she spoke, the room didn't just hear an athlete. They heard a story. Because Nike, at its core, doesn't just endorse performance. It endorses belief. Eala's journey is built on belief. Belief that a Filipina teenager can compete on the biggest courts in the world. Belief that talent knows no geography. Belief that discipline can bend destiny. Inside a conference room overlooking a small lake on campus, a custom display waited for her, her name etched beside the swoosh. A symbolic gesture, perhaps. But symbolism matters. Especially for young athletes watching from thousands of miles away. For every kid hitting tennis balls against a concrete wall in the Philippines, this visit meant something. It said, "You belong here too." At one point, Alex paused in front of a mural featuring iconic Nike athletes mid-celebration. There was Serena, fists clenched in power. There was Maria Sharapova, fierce and focused. There were athletes from different eras, different backgrounds, united by a single checkmark. She smiled. Not out of awe, but out of recognition. She is building her own mural moment. The welcome wasn't loud or extravagant. It was genuine. Applause echoed lightly through the atrium as she was introduced to a larger group. Someone handed her a customized kit. Another shared plans for future collaborations. Cameras flashed, but it felt less like a corporate event and more like a family gathering welcoming one of its own. And in many ways, that's exactly what it was. Nike has always aligned itself with athletes who challenge boundaries. Eala does that simply by existing at the level she competes. She challenges assumptions. She challenges stereotypes. She challenges the invisible ceiling placed over athletes from smaller tennis nations. But beyond all that, she plays beautiful tennis. Fluid strokes, controlled aggression, a lefty spin that unsettles opponents, and perhaps most importantly, a composure that defies her age. As the Oregon clouds shifted and sunlight broke through, Alex stepped outside to one of the campus courts for a brief hit. The sound of the ball meeting strings echoed crisply. Employees gathered along the sidelines, some holding phones, others just watching quietly. Each forehand felt symbolic. Each backhand carried weight. It wasn't a tournament. No rankings points were on the line. But it was still a match of sorts. A match between past and future. Between dream and reality. And Eala stood at the center of it. Later that evening, as she prepared to leave the campus, the drizzle had stopped. The air felt lighter. She took one last look at the iconic swoosh sculpture near the entrance. For some athletes, partnerships are transactional. For others, they are transformational. This one felt transformational. Because somewhere in that Oregon welcome was a silent message. We see you. We believe in you. And we're building with you. As her car pulled away, the headquarters faded into the distance. But the significance of the visit did not.